So there we are. We are in plain sight now for everybody that's following the stream. Welcome everybody on the Meug Late Night. This is the eighth edition of Meug Late Night. A strange idea that started 8 weeks ago and that's becoming more and more fun. So why not keep on doing it? So welcome everybody. My guest tonight, for the people that are first-time viewers, I always introduce the guest. Then we see what he has in his glass, he or she has in his or her glass, and that's the start for the talk. And we'll see where that leads us. So our guest tonight is Shilton Almeida. He is the regional manager for Paul John Whisky, the Great Indian Single Malt, and just an all-round nice guy, basically. So that's why I wanted to have him in the show. So welcome, Shilton.
Hello, Aaron. Hello, everyone.
So you
Good
are,
evening, guys.
yeah, you are at home in London, as I understood.
Yeah, if you can call it home, yes, I am in London right now.
You are in London right now. Okay. Let's start to the most important part of this talk is pouring something into our glasses and seeing what it is. So I'm going to do that too.
Yep.
And then, of course, my very first question will be, Shilton, what is in your glass?
Well, to be honest with you, I've got two in my I've got two glasses with me right now.
Ooh,
to
yeah,
go with.
I've got three options too.
I've started off with lovely beer, of course. Don't ask me why.
Of course, yes.
That's me going on, and I've got a whiskey poured for me as well. That's the Cadenhead's bottle from Paul John.
Yeah.
And that's a bottle kill as well. So I just killed the bottle right now.
Oh wow! Yeah. Well, you're in good. You're following good people because Chris Lauriers also killed a bottle on our show. Yeah, but he killed an old acquaintance, 1968 Boone Heaven. So that was a nice moment to start off. He was the first guest actually. So but the first thing you choose there is the Gueuze Bon.
Yes.
So tell me, why did you choose that?
That's obvious reasons. Come on, everybody knows. I mean, the whole of Belgium knows this by now. I love my Gueuzes, and I love those beers from the beginning. I still remember the first time I came to Belgium, and I was tipped by a friend saying, "Shilton, when you go to Belgium, just be careful because those beers are quite high." And be careful when you do. I went out the first night. I had 3 or 4 beers, and I messaged him back saying, "Dude, these beers are awesome. I love it." I'm so
And did you start straight off with Gueuzes then?
Yes, straight off with Gueuzes, and well, I tried so many, but I think that's where I will. That's where I will straight away go back to. So anytime. I still have a lot in my collection right now, so it's kind of getting a bit low. I need to refill.
Yeah. So is it? Were you a beer lover before you came to Belgium? Were you into beer already?
Yes, well, again, it's me coming from. I'm from Goa in India. So Goa is the party capital, as they call it as. So that's where people will all over the world and from India itself will come down to Goa for a party for a drink.
Yep.
So I always have this love for drinks and beers, yes. But then until I tried this, and now I don't feel like not trying anything else. I always feel like, oh, I need my sour beers, I need my Gueuzes.
Yeah, as soon as the Gueuze bug bites you, you're into it. I mean, I've got the same thing, and it's not an easy beer.
A lot of people in Belgium itself, they say, Shilton, I mean, that's not everybody's beer. It's not easy to.
It is.
Not everybody got it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's very. I've hosted a lot of beer tastings, and Gueuze is always a difficult one. It divides the group because half of the people love it, and the other half absolutely hate it.
I mean, I'm happy for the people who hate it because that means more beers for us.
More for us, yes. I'll tell you straight away what I put into my glass because. When I choose something for our guest, I try to find something that fits the guest, that suits him. And of course, I know of your love of Gueuze, so I got this one.
Wow.
Which is I took a large bottle too because that's also something that I saw fitting to you. large. So
Yeah,
this is lambic actually. So this is
yeah,
unblended Gueuze from the Oude Kam. And I
yeah.
bought this. I bought this 2 years ago, so this is a bit aged already too. So it's been sitting in my basement for a good moment, for a good opportunity, and I was like, okay, tonight will be the night. And my
I mean,
other option, I'll show the other option too, because the other option was this. I don't know if you ever saw this. I have to
mm,
see. Stout Mokker.
no, I don't think so.
So
I
this
don't
is
remember.
it's a Belgian beer. It's a stout beer. It's pretty good. It's from
Okay.
Antwerp, a small brewery. The brewery is called Cabardouche. And the thing is, I know that you love beers with silly names. Uh, and basically, Stout Mokker means something like bad girl.
Oh, okay.
So
Does that mean something like this?
yes, something like that. Yeah, but a little bit more tasteful than that one. But
Okay.
and also Cabardouche, the brewery, is basically a nicer word for a brothel.
Okay.
So it's the brothel brewery that made a bad girl. So, but I wasn't up to stouts for tonight. So I stick to the lambic.
No, the
Yeah.
nice one. And I poured. I mean, I got the whiskey as well next to me, so I've
Yes. Tell
just
me.
poured that one. The main reason for that was my 2015 when like we came out for Spirits in the Sky. It's the first time when we had this chat. I had this chat with Mark Watt.
Yeah.
Uh, Mark came to me and said, "Shilton, I think we should do something together." And that's how it started.
Mark
I mean,
is
it
like
started
that.
off yeah, and it started off in Brussels itself. It started off in Belgium. So I thought, it's a good time to do a bottle kill of that. What I had with me.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I poured it.
What was that? Was that the first independent bottling of Paul John?
No, no, we had done a few before. We have done like Boutique whiskey. Master of Malt had done it as well. So we had done a few. This was the one where it all started with Karen Hits. So that's how
Yeah.
I thought Belgium. So that's how I can relate it to to this evening today.
Yeah, I've got this feeling. So you're the regional manager for Paul John. I guess your region is UK and Europe. Is that correct?
UK
Or
and UK and Northern Europe.
okay. So
So I do.
how many
Yeah.
Shiltons are there in the company?
I mean, I started off in the UK first, and then we have Craig now who looks after the UK market.
Yeah.
We have Benjamin who lives in France and does France and southern part of Europe. And US, we have two guys in the States.
Okay.
And I look after UK, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, and up north, like Poland and
Hmm.
Sweden, markets like that. Yeah.
I have a feeling that you don't mind coming to Belgium.
I don't mind. I love coming to Belgium.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I was getting at. Yeah. Is is that your favorite country to visit? You can be honest. Not It's not because we're talking in Belgium, but
I mean, I know a lot of guys would say, what is your favorite place, Shilton, that people? For me, it's the people
Mhm.
more than the place. I mean, when you're traveling for work, you just travel, you just get into the place and do your work, and you don't see much to move around. For me, it's the people whom I want to meet. So I know where I'm going. So if I know that I'm going to Brussels or somewhere in Belgium, I know whom I'm supposed to meet,
Yeah.
whom I'm going to meet. So it is the people that in Belgium. I think that's what makes me love Belgium more.
Hmm. Hmm. You've been with Paul John since 2015. Is that right?
I joined the company in 2012. I
Okay.
used to work in. I joined in Goa, and I used to work in the Goan market.
Okay.
2015 is when I moved to the UK.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
that's how it started. Yeah,
So
Europe. I
how
mean, European market. Yeah.
European? Okay. And how would you say have things changed for Paul John since the last 5 or 8 years? Because I think they started out doing single malts in 2012, right?
2012 is when we had launched the brand in the UK first.
Yeah.
It was not even launched in Goa. It was launched in the UK first and then launched in Goa in the local market.
Hmm.
2015, the things have changed a lot. I mean, when I moved over here in the UK, for example, we had about 20 stores or 25 stores who used to sell Paul John. And today we have 200 plus stores that are selling Paul John in the
Hmm.
UK. Plus, you see people going into a festival, and you see most of the people coming to you and say, "Oh, Indian whiskey! I never thought India makes a whiskey."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
From
Yeah.
there, today we have moved to a place when someone said, "Oh, Shilton, hi, how are you? I mean, I have your brilliance. I have your attitude. What is?
Yeah.
Do you have something new? Or
What's
I've
new?
never
Yeah.
tried your bone." which is good. Which is good. So there is people want to try more of Paul John because the brand is out there. They know what the
Mhm.
quality of the liquid is.
I guess that's you're in like the second or third phase now. The first phase would have been just getting out the word that there is single
Yeah,
malt whiskey from India, which is not an
yeah.
easy thing.
But it's not an easy thing. Of course, Amrut as a brand have done it in the past. They started in 2004.
Yeah.
So it was for us. It's like coming from Goa, and if you look at people knowing the place as Goa itself, a lot of guys would say, "Oh, I never thought of Goa making a whiskey because it's on towards the beach. It's like a party capital. You go
Yeah.
down for a vacation and don't think of whiskey. You can think of a cocktail or a beer. But then when you tell the fact that we make the whiskey in Goa itself, and that surprises people and they like it. I'm like, wow.
Hmm.
So it has changed a lot. It has changed a lot for brand. Even today you see a lot of guys would say, Shilton, I have tried your range. Do you have something new, or what is new coming in? So
Yeah.
there is a fan following which has grown for the past 5 years, and it keeps growing, which is good.
Yeah. 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 Of course. Maybe I'll ask you the question. What is new? Is there
What
anything
is
new
new?
coming out?
We have just come out with the Oloroso and the PX,
All right.
which you can see too, which came out in February, March. It's already out in Belgium as well, but the thing is, we could not do a lot of tastings and festivals after because what we are in right now.
Yeah.
So that is pretty much new, which is out in the market. The Christmas edition is due to come in again like last year, which should be out by September, October.
Okay.
But the range, including Nirvana, which is the entry level, which is new, and then Oloroso and PX, that's
Mhm.
the range plus limited editions like Christmas edition and more coming out as well.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Nirvana, I thought that was a really good move to get this kind of entry level whiskey in the range too, which is nice on the price, easy going, easy drinking, just a really nice whiskey basically.
Yeah, it also started off. Nirvana was something which came out from France. To be honest, the France, the market, but there's a big demand for a brand in a supermarket,
Mhm.
lower ABV, easy drinking whiskey, and that's when the whole idea came out. And we decided, if we are coming up with this, might as do it for the global market, not only for France. It's doing very well in India today as well. Back in the Indian market for Nirvana.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good entry level, like a stepping stone, and for the value for the how much you're paying for the whiskey. It's a lovely whiskey for the price.
Mhm. How is the Indian market for whiskey? Because I know that there's a lot of whiskey being consumed, but it's not necessarily the single malt whiskey.
No, no. So it's one of the biggest market today.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big country, as in population wise, and it's a big whiskey market today. You get a lot of brands, as you said, which are made in India itself for the Indian market. For us, the brand has grown a lot. It's still growing, I would say, from what it was, and then as I said, Nirvana is growing very well. Is doing very well in India right now with
Hmm.
the number. Plus, people are now changing the whole idea of try our own local stuff and trying something different rather than just being to your classic blends what they have been trying all the time.
Yeah. 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 I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Talking about India, I mean, I've never been to India. It's some sort of a mystery to me what the country is like, and I've also understand that Goa is like like an exception too, very different from the rest of India.
Exactly.
Tell me what Goa is like.
it's 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 something like you are in Goa but you are not in India. You get that feeling of it.
Okay.
It's more like you are somewhere in the Caribbean. It's more about more relaxed. It's on the west coast of India, so you find plenty of. You can just get easy access to go to the beach, just relax over there.
Hmm.
Hot and humid climate, so it's very close. As it's close to the sea, it's very humid. It's very different. The food is different. It's got a lot of Portuguese culture
Yeah.
still there. So you find buildings, like churches which are built like 200 years old by the Portuguese. The food is a lot of, we eat a lot of fish and pork in Goa. So that's more about the Portuguese touch to it. So it's a very different. It's more like you're in Europe. You're
Okay.
in India, but you still get the feel of being somewhere else.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's a lovely place. I mean, if you're not been there, you're missing out, Veron. You should be there.
Oh well. Okay. I'll leave tomorrow. Oh no, I can't. I can't leave. I can't leave. I can't leave. Um. So yeah, that was also something I've been reading about. Is that there's a lot of Portuguese influences still because the Portuguese had like put their mark on the region there.
Yeah.
Um. Do you how do you still see that?
As in with the culture and
Yeah.
things the way. Yeah, I mean it's see for example, the British were there till 1947, and the Portuguese left till 1961. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that's a very strange thing to see. You know that there is also think that when the Portuguese were in Goa, they used to even ship water to from Goa back to Portugal. Well, the whole idea was to come to do trade for spices. You know, the
Okay.
whole concept was to buy spices. I always tell people that even the British were in India to use for trading purpose for spices, but how many spices do you actually see them being used today?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
see, you find a lot. I mean, even for example, Almeida, which is, I mean, my second name Almeida is a Portuguese second name, and
Yeah.
you'll find a lot of Portuguese names there, like Fernandes de Souza. Michael de Souza is our master distiller. He's Portuguese second name again.
Hmm.
So it'll still, a lot of people still speak Portuguese as well.
Okay.
You still find people speak Portuguese. Yeah, I mean, my grandmother used to speak Portuguese. I mean, I didn't learn because by the time when I was growing and it was time for me to learn, she wasn't there around, so I couldn't learn
Yeah.
any Portuguese.
But you grew up in Goa, of course,
Yes,
in the
I grew up in Goa itself, in South Goa, in a
yeah,
place called as Kurturi,
yeah,
and so it's and the first time 2006 is when I moved out of Goa. I was in the Middle East
yeah.
for 5 years, worked in the Middle East, and then 2012 I went back to Goa.
Okay. Can you imagine going back, living there, or are
Of
you
course,
too much
yeah,
of a?
I belong to Goa, dude. I belong to
All
Goa.
right, all right. So you're just temporarily here to spread the word about Paul John Whisky, and then you go back.
I will say I am. I mean, if anytime I can see myself being in Goa in the future, definitely
All
yes, a
right,
big
cool.
yes to that. At
All
some
right, cool.
point, I will be back there more, just retire and sit down and done with all. That's what I can see myself doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds nice. I saw that you came from the town you came from. They have a feast of bananas each year.
Yeah.
I do my research, you know. I do my research.
It's in December. It's in December. It's called as the banana fish. It's called as a banana fish. I mean, you won't see. It's not that you eat bananas or something like that.
Yeah. What is that feast like? Because
I mean, it's nothing to do with bananas. It's just called as banana fish. To be honest with you, it's nothing.
okay, nice.
It's that's the only place. That's the only place in Goa that it's called as. So I mean, I don't even know why it is called as banana fish. I'll probably check. I probably check with my mom one day. Like, why is it? I mean, just sit with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It is in the same village where I come from.
All right. All right.
That's the thing. I always think. I mean, if I go back to Goa one day and just when everything is done and I say that's time for me to retire and sit down to Goa, I'm wondering get all my Belgian beers. I hope by that time you can buy them in Goa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or else they will have turned into India Pale Ales by the time they get there. So
By the time they get there, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm growing up in India. I mean, you've obviously got a big interest, a passion for drinks, for flavors, for taste, for aromas. Um, can you pinpoint a time where you first had this experience? Like, I love this stuff. I love flavors, tastes.
Yeah, I mean, see, if we do, I mean, I love cooking as well.
Hmm.
So I love cooking, and in fact, I'm sure there is somebody watching us right now. Where I was doing a tasting in Belgium, and we had to. I came up and said, let me cook something for the evening,
All
and we
right.
cooked a Goan dish for the people as well. So
Okay. Where was that?
I love that was with Gunther
Oh,
in
it's good.
Saint
Yeah,
Mac.
he's watching. Saint Mac is watching. Oh, Shilton is gone. Oh, connection is interrupted, but he'll be right back. He'll be right back. I hope he'll be right back, or I'll have to talk a little bit until he's back. I'm quite sure he'll be back. I mean, he'll have to just reconnect. Yes, or it's my network, maybe. I don't know. We're connecting again. Well, I am connected, so this should be okay. I'll try and see if I can get hold of Shilton. We'll be right back. This happened before, but it's just gonna take us a couple minutes to be back. Don't worry. I'll try and send him a message. Well, he'll be right back, I think. He's back. There he is again.
Yep.
No worries.
I have my doubts. I think this is done by Gunther himself.
Yeah, yeah. We as soon as we mentioned his name, the connection went out. But I'll just edit this out in the that's what I've been, as I've told you, I've been teaching myself to edit films. So
Edit the films. That's what.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I mean, cooking, and we're talking about spices and working with different flavors, and that's where I will say. I mean, believe me, my first drinking experiences were not with flavors. It was more about drinking for pleasure.
As we all do, of course.
Yeah, it was more. I still remember the first time I went out for a drink as well, and that's how you develop. And then from there, it was like a break of not even drinking. And in the Middle East, when I was working for 5 years, it was more about selling the alcohol, and you cannot try it. When I was selling the more expensive whiskeys, but all you could do is reading about it. So all I could do is just read and understand it, but I don't even know how whiskey is made. I know by reading it, but I have not seen how it is. I don't even know what are the flavors they're talking about. So till I go back to the distillery back in 2012 when I joined Paul John, and that's how I said, okay, so this is how it is made, and I read about it, and this is how the flavors are, and that's how you develop. That's why even today I keep trying different stuff and just keep learning, just understanding more and more every day.
Yeah, this is one of the things, the passions, the hobbies, the areas of expertise that you can only get by keeping on doing it, I think. And also retasting, because I find that there's like basic whiskeys that because whiskey nerds always go for the more specific and special and expensive and extreme stuff.
Yeah.
And there's just easy everyday stuff basically that you forget about how good it is.
I mean, you're picking up something from the supermarket itself. I mean, I will go to the supermarket myself, and you'll find so many, good whiskeys on the shelf. Just pick it up, rather than you don't have to go for expensive stuff. It's just for your everyday drink. And then there is some whiskey which you really want to sit with and appreciate for a long time. These are different, but something which you're just having a good whiskey and having a good time is. We tend to forget it, and we just try to be kind of you feel like you're working every day.
Yeah. That's also something I wonder about, because you are working with whiskey every day. I work with drinks every day, and sometimes you just like, I'll just have something else tonight, because like bakers, that don't eat their own bread, for example.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that idea?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there are some drinks which for example, the vodka. I remember having a lot of vodka before, but now I don't. I just don't. It's not. I don't feel it's for me. But gin is something I keep trying. Rum. I love trying different rums. Whiskeys, of course. I mean, you will find a lot of whiskeys from other brands on my shelf, and mine you'll see only one shelf on top. And there's a whole cupboard down there.
You've professionally hidden them. That's pretty good.
If I just move to the side, you can see a lot.
All right. Yeah, but it's always
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just about more understanding more on different flavors, and I keep trying different stuff. And if there is any tastings that are coming up, and now is a time when we are just sitting down, we get a lot of time where I feel like I keep checking with other guys. Are you doing any tastings where I can join, so I can learn and understand more about other whiskeys as well?
Yeah.
I think that's how it should be, to be honest with you. I mean, it's people more about open-minded and keep learning rather than just saying I know everything.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I've learned in whiskey is that you never know everything. So
No.
it's impossible to know everything. So what would you say is the most extreme thing you've ever tasted? Doesn't have to be whiskey. Can be anything like a flavor or can be good or bad, but just extreme.
Mm, not exactly. I mean, whiskey. I think it will be whiskey. It will be whiskey.
All
It
right.
will be some very special whiskey which I have tried, as in which I loved, and that's how it end up on my shelf.
Yeah.
And there are some whiskeys which are limited editions, which I buy saying I'm going to keep it for some time, but they are so good that I can't keep it for more than a week. That's a very it's I mean it's a good thing in a way, but then again you thought you keep it for a special occasion, but then it's gone. So there are a few especially whiskey I like peated whiskeys, so
Hmm.
smoky peaty whiskey, so that's my kind of flavors which I like.
Hmm.
Or it has to be a big bodied a lot of flavors coming in, which I will literally, I mean it can be anything else, I'll just sit and enjoy that.
Yeah. Are you actually involved in the whiskeys that Paul John makes? Do you give feedback? Do you give suggestions? How does that work?
I mean, we work on suggestions and give a feedback from the market for sure. But it's Michael, our master distiller, who's the main man. Is he's the guy who does everything
Hmm.
from A to Z about the whiskies, about the cask, and it's uh, pretty much maintaining it. It's like a one man show that he runs around over there. It's him coming up with different. We come up with the market requirement. Maybe if someone says, can I have a single cask which is peated, unpeated, fruity? So that's what we can tell them about. Tell him about. But then he comes up with it and says, this is what it is.
Hmm.
Limited editions are what he comes up with. He's experimenting with different casks, and then he ends up. This is the liquid what I think it will be good for this year's
All right.
release. But it's one man. It's Michael who does it.
All right. Cool. So I guess there's a lot of experiments going on right now in the warehouse with different casks and stuff. Is there
Yeah.
anything you can tell us about that? Something crazy or nice that you know is coming in the next couple years, months, whatever?
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, we have the Oloroso and the PX. We have the Christmas edition coming out here,
Yeah.
this year. Michael has got some Virgin Oak as well. So he's working with the Christmas edition is going to have some Virgin Oak, some Oloroso, some
Oh,
peated in
nice.
it. So that's going to be a very interesting one. So Virgin Oak is something he's working with. He's got some Portuguese cask as well. So he's got some port cask which is working, and he's also wanting to work with the rum cask in the future. But at the moment, the distillery is Oloroso. I mean, the sherry ones. You have your Virgin Oak and the port cask that he's working with.
All right.
So
Uh,
port is something which is really turning out to be good. So that's going to be very interesting to see.
it's also nice to have a port cask because of the history of Goa, of course, with the Portuguese and
That's so
stuff.
sad. That's so sad. I mean, the Portuguese were there for so many years. They
Yeah.
didn't leave any port cask back for us.
Ah, damn. They should have left them.
You should have just left a few. I mean, what was landing
Bastards.
wrong with
The
that?
bastards.
Yeah, just leave it behind. Just leave it behind. We'll
Yeah.
make good use of it.
Yeah. Then there's of course the thing about the age of the whiskeys. Since you've got tropical climates, they age a lot quicker, so they're quite young whiskeys that you have on the market. What is the oldest one actually that you have at the moment?
The oldest release that we have is 7 years old, which you will find. I mean, the Kanya was 7 years old. The sherry ones are seven. That is 5 + 2 years in a sherry cask.
Yeah.
Seven is the one we have got out at the moment. The select cask, the classic and the peated are 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Now
That's
with the
quite
new
old.
yeah, yeah, the new batches are 7 and 8. I mean, again, as you said yourself as well, it's more about in the short time, and it extracts a lot flavors in a shorter time, just because it's the climate,
Yeah.
it's hot. It's something which I always say some people don't understand and say, do you understand about faster maturation? It matures 3 to 4 times faster.
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying? If you don't understand, let me make it simple. I look like I'm 36 years old, but I'm actually just 12 years old. That's
Ah,
how young.
and who believes you actually? Who believes you?
No one.
So it's probably at the end of the festival they will believe you quicker than at the beginning of the
That's
festival.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Well, the last couple of weeks, we've all been at home,
Yeah.
but you've been making the best of it with the films you've been making. They are getting they're becoming their own genre by now, I think. And there's a lot of good reactions on that. So how did you come up with that? How did you?
Okay. It was something which I was pretty much feeling bored myself.
Hmm.
Uh, there was nothing much to do. Well, I was still working from home, but then again, when you're working from home in this time, there's nothing much to work with, as in other markets. Um, Everything is closed down, and all you could do is maybe send 2 or 3 emails in a day. There's not much to do, and then you can't be watching movies the whole day. You're still
No.
bored again.
Yeah.
So I found out about this video where I seen someone doing it. I said, okay, you know what? Let me try it. So I tried one, two, and like that was fun. I was enjoying it. Believe me, I was just enjoying it. So I
Yeah,
said,
but
if I do it myself, let me just share it and have some fun, have some love.
yeah.
And that was keeping me so busy. Every time I said something, the comments and the conversation going on, I was loving it. I was just thinking yesterday itself, once all this is over, I'm going to put them all together
Oh yeah,
and
you
just
should
put it on YouTube and save it forever.
put it on a continuous loop, and so people can watch it for hours on
Just
end. Yeah.
no, it's fun. It's more about I was up there. I was up to find out content and just how to relate it and how could we do change it a bit. I just don't pick up anything and do it. It's like something which I could relate to what we do, like a whiskey, like the one with the glass and grabbing
Yeah.
into the glass one, or one with the bottle and pouring. So something like that. So just trying to be a little bit different and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I think it shows what kind of person you are in a really good way, and also how you work with Paul John with the whiskies you represent. Because I was talking to a couple of weeks ago with Stuart Buchanan about this,
Yeah.
and he kind of embodies the brands that he works for, and you can't imagine Benriach or Glendronach or Glenglassaugh without Stuart.
No.
Uh,
No.
and I think it's the same with you. It's the same with Paul John. You kind of see Paul John whiskey and you think of Shilton.
Yeah.
If you've met if and I also think that adds to the brand, that adds to the whiskey.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, I seen that a lot of people are saying it. I just heard a few. I mean, a lot of people in Belgium itself, like Chris, he comes to me and says something similar about it. But it's more about. I mean, especially when talking about the same thing about videos, and a lot of people will say, comment and say, "Are you okay, Shilton? It doesn't look."
It doesn't look. Yeah, are you doing well? Should we send help?
Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm definitely okay. I'm
Yeah.
doing so well. I'm just having the best of the time. Just happy and enjoying myself rather than just being
Hmm.
sad and in a different thing. So I was happy about doing it. But then it was about. I mean, of course, you can take pictures. I've take bottle shots and as representing the brand and getting it out. You can do that. But then something which I say to people, we tend to forget that the drink, whiskey, for example, a drink, or maybe any other spirit, is made to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, first things first, you need to enjoy the thing in your glass, whatever it is. You need to enjoy that. You have to have some fun with it, rather than
Yes.
just having like a serious drink on it. I'm not. That's not me, at least. I don't know about others, but that's not me.
No, but and I think what you told about Goa, about what the what Goa is about. I think it's also about fun and about so that kind of represents everything that Paul John
Yeah.
stands for, I think. So
Yeah, it's more about this hot and tropical climate. I mean, especially the classic. I always tell the classic select is like Goa in a bottle. It
mm,
reminds me of home. So it's emotions, I would say, that will connect me. I was just having a chat with my friend yesterday, a good friend of mine, Joe Savio from Goa. So he's an artist. So he does music videos, and
okay.
I was just telling him he's got his few music videos, and I can actually relate every whiskey from Paul John with every song. I can do
Oh
the
wow.
pairing with his song because every song over there has got a meaning, and the whiskey, I can relate it to that because there's emotions over there in the song and in the whiskey. So it was a lovely thing, and he's got exactly 8 songs with him, music videos, and I've got 8 whiskeys with me. I said we should
Okay.
do this one day.
Yeah, you should do that because I think that that kind of feeling is hard to express in words, to
Yeah,
explain to people. You can't explain this to people. You have to feel
yeah,
this, I think.
feel it. You have to feel it. Yeah, exactly. It's just about as it's as I say, you can have the best of the whiskey, and you're not in a good mood or not in the right company, so you're not enjoying the whiskey.
Hmm.
And you can have just a normal standard whiskey from a supermarket shelf maybe, and you're having the best of the company with your friends and family, and you're having the best of your time.
Yes, yes.
That's I think that's how it should be. It's more about the emotions that connects you with the liquid in the glass.
I also think that for whiskey drinkers, and I think it's the same with beer drinkers or beer geeks and beer nerds and everybody that's really into something, they start off being interested, then they get geeky and snobby and they want all the special stuff, and then after a certain moment, they go back to just, yeah, let's just have fun with this, whatever it is, let's just have fun, and it's all about people, not about what's in your glass, basically.
It's something which is really sad. I see in today's in a lot of when a lot of people come and say the moment you try to pour a whiskey, the first thing they will say, where is it from? How old is it? And how is it made?
And
All
what,
those things.
yeah, and
They've
what
not
does it
even
cost?
tried it.
Yeah,
They've not even tried it. My first thing is try that. See if
yeah,
you like it. If you really like it, if you think it's something it's making you curious about the liquid, then you can find out more. You can say, well, what is it, how is it, and everything. But just don't start out saying all those questions
yeah.
coming up way and not even tried the liquid.
Yeah, because also if you know everything beforehand, you get an image in your head of what it should be,
Exactly. Exactly.
which is
You
not
got you got
correct.
the expectations set up. You got that expectations, and then if you say, then it doesn't meet up your expectations, and you say, oh, you're disappointed. You say, oh, I don't like this whiskey. I
Mhm.
like other whiskeys from that region, but I don't like this whiskey because you have your mindset of what to expect.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's also why I love blind tastings. Just giving
Oh,
people
definitely,
stuff.
I
Yeah.
love blind tastings. Yeah, yeah. That really opens up. You know, you can try it first, and then you can talk about what it is later on. That's the best way of
Mm.
doing it.
But you should do that with people whose egos are not too big, because because blind tastings are also very confronting, especially
Yeah.
for experts, as we would say, because it would turn out that they probably sometimes like the cheap stuff better than the really extreme expensive stuff, for example. And that's hard to admit for people.
Well, I would say if you really got know your it's like 10 out of 10 on your knowledge on it, then you should be open to try
Yeah.
blind tasting, to go for a blind tasting. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
you
the best.
should do that.
If you think you are 10 out of 10, then you should go for a blind tasting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm thinking about because you also know, of course, that everything influences how you taste. Even the lighting, the people you're with, how your mood, everything influences how you experience something. So I'm thinking of doing. I would like to call it a mindfuck tasting, where you
Yeah,
get where you try to influence people in all kinds of different ways to give them a different experience to really get them thinking about what they're drinking instead of just, as you
yeah,
said, asking everything beforehand. So I'm
yeah,
working on
definitely.
that. You're back. You're back. Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just fell away for a couple seconds there. Um, yeah. Um, I always have to think a bit what I yeah, there was somebody on Facebook that I think it was Jan Wekema from the Netherlands who said on Facebook this afternoon, I should ask you about your wooden shoes.
I can see it right in front of me actually.
Yeah. So tell me, what is that all about?
Okay, everybody knows, and everybody watching this right now, especially people people from Belgium, knows that every time I go somewhere, I kind of blend in very easily.
Hmm.
So I was in Netherlands doing a tasting. Uh, up, I think it's up north somewhere in Netherlands, and we were driving there with Jock from Netherlands,
Yep.
and we said, you know what, I always wanted to buy these shoes. Can I buy the shoes for myself? I didn't even know how to wear it. I went to the shop. We went to the shop. We picked up the shoes. First of all, I wasn't sure if I'll get my size.
Mm-hmm.
But then I could easily get it. I wore it over there itself. I was like, you know what, Jock? I'm gonna wear this for the tasting.
So we're talking about the clogs, right? The real wooden shoes, the
Yeah,
klompen,
yeah,
klompen, as we say.
yeah. These are the ones. They're huge. They're really huge. Dude, I mean, I wore it and I wore it for the tasting. Oh man, that's. I don't know how people wear it, but walking in the shoes is like funny. So weird. So weird. People, so they were saying that some people wear it kind of every day in going into the farm and stuff like that. But then I don't know how you wear it. I love it though. I love it. They look so cool.
Yeah. So you wear them at how in the house now for everyday work.
No.
I think everybody will imagine you now wearing the clogs all day long.
That's one time I wore it for a tasting, and I will definitely wear it if I get the opportunity again. Some tasting or something.
Yeah.
But I think they're safety shoes. I will call them as safety shoes. If you're walking out on the street and if you're in case attacked by somebody, you can literally kick them with the shoes.
Yes. Yeah. Or just throw them at them. Yeah.
Throw them at them.
Okay, that's the wooden shoe story. So Jan, I don't know if you're watching, but I've asked him. So yeah. I'm just watching at the live chat. There's a pretty lively live chat going on. There's Gunther is there, Bart Ottevaren is there from Tenerrewaarde. I see Rita, the Bowmore girl, is there.
Bowmore girl, yeah, Rita.
So yeah, the other nicknames I don't really recognize yet, but there's lots of well-known whiskey people here.
There is something which I always share it with. I mean, every time I see a Rita, there's a tagline, there's a caption we come up with. It's called as "You're making me nuts." there's a cocktail that we had. It was called as "You're making me nuts."
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think you've got a really big fan base here in Belgium.
Yeah, that's how you end up. You do a tasting and you end up called as Crazy Dancing Lakes. Thank you, Gunther, for that.
Yeah, that came up in the live chat here. So the Crazy Dancing Lakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are different names. There are different names. You see, go to different region, and there is a moment. There's a memory from that place. I think for me in Belgium. So and that's why I love coming back, just to refresh all those memories.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As I told you beforehand, normally I always say we're going to have a talk about half an hour. We're 45 minutes in now, and I haven't even really asked any of the questions I had prepared. So I'm just a couple of questions I always ask everybody. So I'm going to do them now and see where we end up. One of them is I will grant you eternal life. You'll live forever. And you get one bottle with you. It keeps refilling, but it will be always the same thing. So what would you choose then?
Why not more than one?
Well, that's the question, of course. That's the difficulty.
Let me see. I mean, I love peated whiskey, so I keep trying different, as I said, different peated whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there is one whiskey. It's one whiskey from Paul John itself, which I tried, which you can't buy right now. It was a single cask that we had done for the UK market. It's the number is 1906.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, I always wanted to buy that whiskey for my collection, and I just drank. There is one bottle now in Goa. I think that's the safest place to keep it. Just keep it away from me.
Keep it halfway across the earth.
Yeah, just keep it away from me to be safer. That's a single cask unpeated we had done. That's one whiskey which I just love.
Okay.
That will be from Paul John. But then again, if someone says Shilton, why only pick from Paul John? I know there are a lot of things, but if you see any of this will be the Ruby Port 2018 Glen Scotia is one whiskey which I again
Hmm.
bought for a collection, drank it off, saw one on the shelf again at somewhere, bought one more. So this, any one of these whiskeys, I'm more than happy to be on any island you give me, as long
Yeah,
as you
yeah,
get this whiskey.
it's that whiskey, of course. Cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. It's good to get an answer because sometimes people go like, "Yeah, well, I can't really choose, and it's very difficult." And no, it's good to have an answer. I think.
No,
Uh,
no, definitely. I mean, I always had kind of. I mean, this is something which you don't get, but I love it.
oh yeah,
It was 2018. I just picked up this from the shop the other day. I'm like, well, if you give me this on Ireland, I'll be happy. Thank you.
yeah. Lockgorm, yeah, yeah. Lockgorm is really nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So good answer. I like that one. Um, you get a date with anybody you want, living or death. Who would that be, and what would you put on the table to drink?
Who will I want to share with? I mean,
Who would you like to
uh,
meet for a talk to for an evening or?
I'm a big okay. Talking about a person who's living, I'm a big fan of Liverpool.
Yeah,
So I don't even know. But if I get ever get a chance to, I will definitely sit for a drink with Steven Gerrard. I will definitely pour him a Paul John and have a chat. I
yeah,
don't even know. I don't even think he drinks, but that's the thing what I am up to. But that's if there is one person who's not there around, I will definitely will love to pour a drink and drink it. If my dad was around, I would have loved to sit and have a drink with him
yeah.
and say, and this is where I am today, and talk about whiskey. So that's not happening. But living, it will be.
Yeah, okay.
Will,
I can understand that. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I've got two more questions. But
yeah.
I'm going to put it to the live chat too. If anybody has more questions, please put them in the chat right now. I'm asking one more question, and I'll check the live chat again. Um, a question I love too is, can whiskey save the world?
Yes,
And
definitely yes.
how will whiskey
How?
save the world?
How? If you say how and why, it's been 3 months I'm here. It has saved me, so it definitely saves the world.
Saved somebody. Yeah.
3 months, 3 months, it has saved me, so I'm sure it will save the world.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And of course, it will be Paul John Whisky that saves the world. There's no question about that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, of course.
it's no, definitely yes. I will. That's a big yes. It saves the world.
There's no questions at the moment, so I'll go to my last question and then check again.
I don't think any of those guys do want to know ask any questions to me. They kind of know me so well.
Yeah.
Or the last thing you'll see is someone sending me a text message or a message on Messenger asking me.
Yeah. 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 There's also somebody saying, please make more videos. So yeah, you need to keep doing this. You need to build your home studio and make real. Yeah, this is going
I
to be
mean,
big.
that's actually a backup plan in case I want to get out of the whiskey of the
You can go
industry.
into show business.
I can get into show business.
Yes, you can get into show business. Yeah.
I'm practicing. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm looking forward to it anyway. So yeah, there's no questions coming, but so I always like to close off with one thing is there anything you would like to share at this point with humanity that you would like to tell everybody at this moment?
Not much, but I will say, first of all, during the current situation, just be there for each other. Uh, you know, laugh, have a good time,
Mm.
and in general, I would say, but something which I love telling people is just be yourself. Just like how what I do, just be yourself. It's much better to be yourself rather than trying to be somebody else.
Hmm.
So I would say just two things right now: just be for each other. Otherwise, just be yourself. Just be happy.
Yeah.
Live every moment.
Carpe diem, as they say. Seize the day.
Yeah.
That's a good message, I think. Well, since there's no questions coming in the live chat, I'll start closing off. Before we leave, I will tell everybody that if you missed stuff, if you came in late, this will be on our YouTube channel from tomorrow, so you can rewatch the whole thing if you want. Next week, I've got the last Meug Late Night before summer. And that will be a good one too, because our guest then will be Bert Bruneel from Asta Morris. We've already talked about which language we're going to be doing it in, and he'll be talking West Flemish and I'll be talking Antwerpian. So nobody will understand what we're saying. It's two dialects in Belgium. So yeah, that's next week, the 25th, and then we'll go into a little summer recess and think about what we're going to be doing from September with this. I'm loving this, so I hope I can keep on doing this. But yeah, that's basically it. If you got any feedback, just send it to me. Put it on our Facebook. Share this. That's all very important. You've been seeing on the stream. There's been a banner running the whole time with the link to Paul John Whisky website, with the link to the Meug website. And we also put a link in there to the Jones Food Bar, which is a new restaurant here in my hometown in Schilde. Really nice place. And Meug will be doing a series of 10 tastings in the fall. There'll be whiskey tastings, beer tastings, gin tastings, wine tastings. So check that out. We'll be having a tasting academy there, so check that out. There's no info yet, but it'll be in the next couple of weeks. There'll be info on the website and the Facebook page. So that's for all the administration I had to do. Shilton, yeah, people are saying, yeah, we loved the show, we loved it. So yeah, that's basically all you're doing. Thank you so much.
No, it was a lovely show. I would say from my side, I would say this is thank you so much for doing it, because these are the platforms where you can actually connect with people. I mean, I wish I could see all the list of who's chatting and be a part of the conversation as well.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm free, I just log in and see who's doing a live tasting and just join in. That's the only thing what we can do. And thank you for connecting us. I can't wait to get into Belgium and give those big hugs again.
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to be sharing a dram by then, or a beer or whatever. So
definitely, and keep making good beers.
yeah, well, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. So no, big thank you to you for taking the time to be my guest here. We'll see each other soon. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time, everybody. I'll stop off here and then I'll finish off my chat with Shilton here.
Thank you, guys. Be safe out there. Take care.
Bye bye.